Hello, Bonnie. Just getting my shit together. Thought I would greet some people. Putz around for the next 10 minutes. I was working on some commission work before this, so I need to like change gears in my head. Good morning, Christina. It's lovely to see you. I love you guys. Let's see, and I'm running you guys through a meditation. Today is Friday. Let's do... I have 2 for Friday. And we can flip-flop between the 2. Swadhisthana. Yeah, that one will work. Cool. Sometimes it's weird when you don't feel productive until the end of the week. I didn't even fill out my bullet journal for Tuesday and Wednesday. I was so burnt out from the drawing stream that I was just like, anything that requires me to put pencil to paper or stylus to tablet, I am not dealing with that. Hi, Debbie. We'll be starting at 10, I promise. At the top of the hour, I should say, because I don't know where you guys are. Joyous time zones and all that. Have so much work to do today. Just trying to figure yourself out lately. Doing some introspection. I have to keep checking behind me to make sure my cat's not there. Because otherwise I'll just lay back and smush my cat. Which is no bueno. Is the music too loud? I think if I remove the screen... Oh, I didn't share the audio. So it's fine anyway, right? When I do my intro video, my opening bump, it shouldn't overlap, it should stop. Just lay back super slowly with control. Good for the back, good for the abs, good for the unsmushed kitty, yeah. Or I can just look before I lay back. This time I would have laid on my phone. booking cabins today for summer camping trips. That sounds exciting. Like the sound of that. Take your pod out camping. Good morning, Ginny. Good morning. Oh. Yeah, I've already started work, so my brain is in work mode. A smushed kitty is a sad kitty. We don't want sad kitties. You again. I thought you were hidden from the chat, my friend. What have you to say this time? Allegheny. Oh, Allegheny State Park. Booked for 4th of July. Cool. I had a cool thing happen this morning. A really cool, pretty kitty followed me from my apartment all the way to work. Oh, kitties. Yep. Hey, moderators, can you do something about this guy? I can't ban him. I can't do anything about him from here. All right, thank you. Hello, Spence. No, but Christina and Ginny and I think Spence are mods. I could be wrong. I did arm a bunch of hammers the other day when Assam came in and wanted to curse me, like, 8 times over. I like how he's like, hi, I curse you. I enslave you. I'm going to have you in the background while I finish packing. Cool. I'm going to spend today packing myself. I mean, also, I'm not like getting into my luggage or anything like that. I'm going to pack some luggage for tomorrow's trip. I know, right? He has some preconceived notions about who I am and what I do, and there's no convincing him otherwise, apparently. He thinks I'm a devil worshiper. Oh, Spence is not a mod. Is there a way that I can do those things? I have 1 minute. I can figure it out. Mute this one. And then, yep, he down thumbs me. Also reported his butt. Thank you. Spence. Oh, right. I'm not the right name. Switch account. Witch of Tylwyth Teg. Let's make you a moderator. Let's make you a moderator. Okay. Oh, I didn't even realize I had all these comments and stuff. Most of them are like bots, of course, but such is the life. All right. Thank you very much, Jenny. We hit him. It would be one thing if he was like, hey, I don't agree with this, but cursing people is not something we do here. Yeah, I know, right? Am I gonna have to bind a bitch? I was distracted. Joyous time zones, my Sakonauts. I'm Sako Tumi, also known as the Witch of Tylwyth Teg, and today we are talking about the last chapter, which is Are You Illuminated? In Condensed Chaos by Phil Hine. Come on. All right. I know. I was like, UPS is cooler than I thought. Excellent. All right. Do you suffer from imposter syndrome? Do you lack confidence and control? Do you doubt your worth and achievements? Your value isn't broken. You simply need to be rekindled. Sit with your hands in your lap and close your eyes. Oops. Take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it for a moment. And as you let it out completely through your mouth, let go of the tension from the night and the grogginess of the morning. Take another deep breath in. As you breathe in, imagine you are breathing in pure love. As you breathe out, imagine, I did this already, didn't I? Imagine you are breathing out forgiveness. Take a third deep breath in, and as you do so, imagine a light coming in at the top of your head. It enters at the top of your head and spreads down over your face, neck, and shoulders. This cleansing light now expands along your back, down your legs, and out through your feet. Helps if I have the right mic on. You can now manipulate the light into energy. That light moves through your head, down your throat, past your heart, and straight to that space beneath your rib cage where your diaphragm rests. Your lower limbs, I didn't edit these. Your lower limbs grow heavy and still you can no longer distinguish them and the earth you are sitting on. Turn your attention to your diaphragm. In that little bladder, your epicenter is a bright yellow flame. Watch as your inner sun combusts, exploding into flames. What you see is your passion. As the fire grows, so does your power. As the fire within you spreads, you can feel your teeth growing sharp and bold. Your back splits open, making way for large wings. What do they look like? What are they made of? Use the fire to fuel your strength. Now pull with all your might and tear yourself from the earth. Soar in the sky, high above the earth, and that only a moment ago grounded you and held you captive. Feel the power, bolstered by the steadily growing fire, as it floods every pore in your body as you glide through the sky. Freedom and passion well up inside you, and you feel a mighty roar waiting to be unleashed. On the count of 3, let out this roar. 1, 2, 3. What did it sound like? Did it inspire you? Continue to fly. Survey the land below you. Where are you? What is the weather like? It is time to land. Glide to your gentle landing on your feather-light feet. Take one more deep breath in and begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. When you are ready, open your eyes. Welcome. If you're just joining us, we just did our morning ritual where we explored our solar plexus chakra. Good morning, doll. It's so lovely to see you. You missed the witch burner that likes to come to my streams and curse me and stuff. They've already taken care of him. I've been watching MCR live shows on YouTube all morning. I'm full of love and positive vibes, and this meditation radiates the feeling I'm going for today. Awesome. Good morning, doll. Pull a tarot card for today. I like this meditation music, this royalty-free meditation music with like little ocean waves kind of in the background, and especially great for when I'm doing the meditation. What's MCR? I wonder. Today is the first day working with the third rune, Thorazos. That is out of my purview of what I know of runes. Oh, My Chemical Romance. Ah, I see. Excellent. The Ace of Cups. Yesterday we had the Ace of Wands. Let's bask in this ace energy today. Spread the love. You are being offered a taste of refreshing opportunities, full of emotional expression and fulfillment. The water in the Ace of Cups is allowing you to flow with love and creativity in your relationship with yourself and others. Free-flowing, you allow yourself to pour your feelings in a way that is cleansing and nourishing for your soul. A desire for compassion and connection is inspiring you to lend a helping hand to those in need. By sharing your gifts with the world, you become much more open about who you are and the unique talents that you bring. Creative juices are ripe and glowing with new possibilities, the beginning of deep love, compassion, and happiness. Your energy is contagious. Don't forget to pass up the cup. Don't forget to pass the cup and share the good vibes. The more you give, the more you receive on multiple levels. Good vibes. Ace of Wands yesterday and the Ace of Cups today. All these new beginnings, all this new energy. Spring is coming. Spring is coming. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be a wonderful time to start new projects, make new friends, rekindle old ones. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, they're talking about channeler type magic. Yeah, Ace Fest. For the win. Okay, let's pick up where we left off. Much needed good vibes, indeed. Indeed. Use that energy, use that inspiration. Now's a great time to plan. Get a little messy. For all I know, she might think it's art. I know, right? There does seem to be a kind of cumulative degeneration of the quality of such communications. Having read quite a wide variety of stuff recently, I see a kind of pattern emerging. The initial contact with an entity can produce some quite startling transmissions in terms of synthesizing information in new ways. Then, as the recipient becomes more and more bound up with the communications, they degenerate in terms of quality of information until one is hearing the kind of cosmic mind mush, which, though it sounds good, is rather obvious. I have definitely been there. It seems that the more a person identifies in terms of ego involvement with an entity, the less original the topics of communication become. Before long, the recipient of such messages begins to hail themselves as a priest or priestess of the mysteries revealed exclusively to them, and the foundation of a small cult that is going to save the world shortly follows. All of which begs the question of just what is going on when we contact these entities. A difficult one, this. How we try and answer it says more about how we structure meaning than any actual organization of inner realms. The channeler type answer, of course, is that all these entities are actual separate beings hanging about around the astral planes, no doubt a never-ending cocktail party, until they pop down to deliver reassurance to a group of yuppies about heart disease, second mortgages, and the Dow Jones Index. An utter skeptic might answer that they are all imaginary and therefore unreal. A magician might answer that while these entities do not have a wholly objective existence, they are not fictitious either. People still tend to speak of the imagination as a source of experience that is somehow less real than everything else. An interesting model for examining inner plane contacts can be found within William Gibson's novel The Neuromancer. One of the major characters is an artificial intelligence which manipulates a caste of humans to further its own ends. To successfully do this, it must establish a rapport with those it wishes to manipulate. It does this by generating constructs, personalities which it wears like masks, creating them out of memories of humans it wishes to contact. It explains that it needs these masks to establish a point of access, an interface between its own experience and the perceptual limits of human beings. Reading this brought very much to mind accounts of human entity contacts, particularly a sentence in Dion Fortune's The Cosmic Doctrine, which reads, What we are, you cannot realize, and it is a waste of time to try and do so. But you can imagine, italics mine, us on the astral plane, and we can contact you through your imagination. And though your mental picture is not real or actual, the results of it are real and actual. Dion Fortune, or Fortune, however you want to say it, made extensive use of inner plane contacts to synthesize her magical ideas. Alan Richardson, in his biography of Dion Fortune Priestess, discusses the various historical figures that Fortune claimed to be in contact with. The most interesting entity is one David Carsons, whom, according to Fortune, was a young British officer who was killed during the First World War. Fortune provided a good deal of biographical information concerning Carsons, and after thorough research, Alan Richardson states that Carsons did not exist. Rather, it seems he was actually, in terms of the above model, a construct, a personality generated out of Dion Fortune's experimental magic and experiences, and hence an interface for accessing information. If you imagine the sum total of your personal memories and knowledge as a sphere in space, the unknown, then to extend your sphere of information, it is though a window must be created through which the unknown or raw data can be translated into information that is meaningful in terms of perceptual limitations. Inner plane entities are how we tend to conceptualize these windows into chaos. They appear as independent entities so that we can make sense of the incoming data. Their personalities are usually concurrent with the recipient's belief system. Hence the many forms of entities, depending on where you believe the seat of wisdom is, be it Egypt, Sirius B, or some draughty monastery in Tibet. drafty. I don't know. I've never seen that word. Usually it seems these entities are automatically generated as one focuses will and imagination towards any one vector. But occasionally entities can be generated as an act of will so that outposts can be established within which personal ideas and inner world can be explored and eventually integrated into one's psychocosm. At this point, the whole issue of the reality of the experience breaks down, as these entities are not simply secondary personalities in the pathological sense, but constructs which are emergent properties of our own information processing capacity, interacting with that which lies beyond it. So how does this relate to the higher beings contacted by New Age channelers? I feel that this is a question of degree. Most magicians I have encountered who make use of inner world contacts are doing so as a part of going beyond the limits of normality, finding an edge and pushing themselves repeatedly over it, sifting for insights in abyss after abyss. On the other hand, the New Age channelers seem to want nothing more than the spiritual equivalent of a candy-flavored infant pacifier. It is as though they are channeling not so much information from outside the human knowledge pool, but very much from within it. The higher authority control programs of a culture in need of a mysticism which embraces materialism and a bland, I'm okay, so there view of the world. Strip away the Therapol jargon and the diluted Eastern mysticism, blah. And the New Age consciousness is revealed as just another scam of slave gods. An escape route that leads nowhere because it does not involve risking or challenging the ego. Hence its attraction for those who need to follow creeds and gurus. Let's face it, the world can be a pretty daunting place. If some wise adept in the body of a Joan Collins look-alike told you that life on the astral plane was an endless round of dynasty-style parties, wouldn't you sign up for a course in astral projection? I need more coffee. So that was throwing some shade at New Age channeling. I personally do not subscribe to New Age channelers, except for Reiki. There is like an honest-to-God Reiki practitioner. I have been at the hands of one when I was injured, and that shit works. And also the shade. Yes, love the shade. And then we'll start the next chapter when I have coffee. I am gonna take you with me to the kitchen, I think. Some Reiki practitioners are fantastic. I agree. See how, yeah. It's because I unplugged my microphone. StreamYard likes to do the things. Also, good morning, Raven. Oh, I don't have any more cream. I have honey. Hi, kitten. Meow. Raven, did you happen to catch this morning's meditation? Hello. 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 Purr bucket. Meow. Isn't she pretty, kitty? She's like, no, don't kiss my head. I need to feed my cat. Cats, plural, after this stream. Get some honey to put in my coffee. Been here since the end of the meditation, but I've been kind of a lump. Got some potentially bad news. So it hasn't happened yet. It's potentially bad. It's never a healthy thing, well, sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's self-preservation. But the expecting bad news, I don't know. Sounds like doomsday sort of stuff. Rhoda is sick. Oops. She doesn't know if it's COVID or not, but she's a high risk. Pretty certain exposure. One of the people she's living with tested positive recently. I see. So it is bad news because she's sick. Right? It could be worse. I mean, it's not good that she's sick, so... Things are either good or they're not. And there are varying degrees of bad. I would say this is varying degrees of bad. There we go. Plug my mic back in. All right, let's see what this last chapter is about. It talks about initiation, apparently. Chapter 10, Are You Illuminated? Magic is often referred to in terms of being a path, a spiritual quest, a voyage of self-discovery, or an adventure. However you want to dress it up, one point is clear. It is a means of bringing about change. Thanks, Mom. Kind of conditioned to expect the worst, so that, well, if it is just a sinus infection, that is definitely not COVID, because there's no sinus infection involved with the cough or the vid. I think that's what they've been calling it, the vid. Numero 19. For this change to be effective, it is important that you be able to set the effects of your magical work within a context, to be able to make sense of them and integrate them into a dynamic interaction with a moving, fluid universe. The Rona, yeah. There's also that. Initiation as a process. There appears to be some misunderstanding over the term initiation means. What the term initiation means. Occasionally one bumps into people who consider themselves initiates and seem to consider themselves somehow above the rest of humanity. Particularly irritating are the self-styled initiates who let drop teasing bits of obscure information and then refuse to explain any further because their audience are not initiates. Boo. The term itself seems to crop up in a wide variety of contexts. People speak of being initiated into groups, onto a particular path, or of initiating themselves. Some hold that initiation is only valid if the person who confers it as part of a genuine tradition. Others that it doesn't matter either way. This is a weird reading. Okay, happy birthday. Have fun on your trip. Have fun. Tanjoubi omedetou gozaimasu. Let's try this again. Dictionary definitions of initiation allude to the act of beginning or of setting in motion or entry into something. One way to explain initiation is to say that it is a threshold of change, which we may experience at different times in our lives as we grow and develop. The key to initiation is recognizing that we have reached such a turning point and are aware of being in a period of transition between our past and our future. The conscious awareness of entering a transitional state allows us to, perhaps, discard behavioral and emotional patterns which will be no longer valid for the new circumstances and consciously take up new ones. Oh, the Japanese, yeah. What magical books often fail to emphasize is that initiation is a process. It doesn't just happen once, but can occur many times throughout an individual's life, and it has peaks, initiatory crises, troughs, black depression or the dark night of the soul, and plateaus where nothing much seems to be going on. Becoming aware of your own cycles of change and how to weather them is a core part of any developmental process or approach to magical practice. The key elements of stages for initiation process have been extensively mapped by anthropologists such as Joseph Campbell. While they are mostly used to describe stages of shamanic initiation, they are equally applicable to other areas of life as well. Other areas of life experience. Still too hot to drink. Crises and call. In shamanic societies, the first stage of the initiation process is often marked by a period of personal crises and a call towards starting the shamanic journey. Most of us are quite happy to remain within the conceptual and philosophical boundaries of consensus reality, i.e., the everyday world. For an individual beginning on the initiatory journey, the crises may come as a powerful vision, in dreams, or as a deep and often disturbing feeling to find out what is beyond the limits of normal life. It can often come as a result of a powerful spiritual, religious, or political experience, or as a growing existential discontent with life. Our sense of being a stable self is reinforced by the walls of the social world in which we participate, yet our sense of uniqueness resides in the cracks of those same walls. Initiation is a process which takes us over the wall into the unexplored territories of which the possibilities we have only half glimpsed. This first crisis is often an unpleasant experience as we begin to question and become dissatisfied with all that we have previously held dear. Work, relationships, ethical values, family life can all be disrupted as the individual becomes increasingly consumed by the desire to journey. The internal summons may be consciously quashed or resisted, and it is unknown for individuals in tribal societies to refuse the call to shamanic training. No small thing, as it may lead to further crises and even death. One very common experience of people who feel the summons in our society is an overpowering sense of urgency to either become enlightened or to change the world in accordance with emerging visions. This can lead to people becoming addicted to spiritual paths, wherein the energy that may have been formerly channeled into work and relationships is directed toward taking up spiritual practices and becoming immersed in spiritual belief systems. I still maintain the relationships around me. I still know where to invest my energy, but I do invest a lot of energy into my practice, I have to admit. I don't want to say it's addicted. I'm addicted. I don't think I'm addicted. I don't think I sacrifice interaction with the everyday world in order to walk my path. The newly awakened individual can be unintentionally as boring and as tiresome as anyone who has seized a messianic belief system, whether it be politics, religion, or spirituality. It is often difficult at this stage in the cycle to understand the reaction of family, friends, and others who may not be sympathetic to one's newfound direction or life changes in lifestyle. Often, some of the more dubious religious cults take advantage of this stage by convincing young converts that true friends, etc., would not hinder them in taking up their new life, and that anyone who does not approve is therefore not a true friend. There are a wide variety of cults which do well in terms of converts, from young people who are in period of transition, such as when leaving home for the first time, and who are attracted to a belief or value system that assuages their uncertainties about the world. Another of the problems often experienced by those feeling the summons to journey is a terrible sense of isolation or alienation from one's fellows, the inevitable result of moving to the edge of one's culture. Thus, excitement at the adventure is often tinged with regret and loss of stability or unconscious participation with one's former world. Once you have begun the process of disentanglement from the everyday world, it is hard to feel a certain nostalgia for the lost former life in which everything was seemingly clear-cut and stable, with no ambiguities or uncertainties. I fell into that mistake once. I learned to control. I basically slept through some years of my teens. I did the opposite. I was not sleeping. I did not sleep through my teens. I should have gotten into chaos magic then. I got into Wicca, but I didn't realize that I was in Gnosis for so much of that. That sleepless feeling, like in your chest, in your gut, in your head. That sleep debt, the effects of sleep debt on your body is supposedly a great time to do magic. They recommend that as a state in which to do magic, and I probably wouldn't do that. A common response to the summons to departure is the journey into the wilderness, a moving away from one's fellows and the stability of consensual reality. A proto-shaman is likely to physically journey into the wilderness away from the security of tribal reality. And though this is possible for some Westerners, like Nicole, the constraints of modern living usually mean that for us, this wandering in the waste is enacted on the planes of ideas, values, and beliefs, wherein we look deeply within and around ourselves and question everything, perhaps drawing away from social relations as well. Deliberate isolation from one's fellows is a powerful way of loosening the sense of having fixed values and beliefs, and social deprivation mechanisms turn up in a wide variety of magical cultures. Well, it's not so much that, unless he's talking about those going on. I made a mess last night, and I'm just noticing it now. Like, for instance, women in Native American tribes were usually kicked out, especially during their period when they were on moon, because they were exuding more power than the medicine man. So they were exiled. I would not say that is a journey we want to be on. It's not often I drink black coffee. Initiatory sickness. In shamanic cultures, the summons to journey is often heralded by a so-called initiatory sickness, which can either come upon an individual suddenly or creep slowly upon them as a progressive behavioral change. Western observers have labeled this state as a form of divine madness or evidence of psychopathology. In the past, anthropologists and psychologists have labeled shamans as schizophrenic, psychotic, or epileptic. More recently, Western enthusiasts of shamanism and anti-psychiatry have reversed the process of labeling and asserted that people as schizophrenic, psychotic, or epileptic are proto-shamans. Current trends in the study of shamanism now recognize the former position to be ethnocentric, that researchers have been judging shamanic behavior by Western standards. The onset of initiatory sickness in tribal culture is recognized as a difficult but potentially useful developmental process. Part of the problem is that Western philosophy has developed the idea of ordinary consciousness, of which anything beyond the range is pathological, be it shamanic, mystical, or drug-induced. Fortunately for us, this narrow view is being rapidly undermined. Individuals undergoing initiatory sickness sometimes appear to suffer from fits and strange behavior, but there is an increasing recognition that it is a mistake to sweepingly attach Western psychiatric labels onto them so that they can be explained away. Shamans may go through a period of readjustment, but research shows that they tend to become the most healthy people in their tribes, functioning very well as leaders and healers. Transitional states showing similar features to the initiatory sickness have been identified in other cultures' mystical and magical practices, which Western researchers are beginning to study as practices from other cultures gain popularity. The Dark Night of the Soul. Saint John of the Cross, a Christian mystic, wrote of this experience. It puts the sensory spiritual appetites to sleep, deadens them, and deprives them of the ability to find pleasure in anything. It binds the imagination and impedes it from doing any good discursive work. It makes the memory cease, the intellect become dark and unable to understand anything, and hence it causes the will to become arid and constrained, and all the faculties empty and useless. And over this hangs a dense and burdensome cloud which afflicts the soul and keeps it withdrawn from God. When entering dark night, one is overcome by a sense of spiritual dryness and depression. The idea expressed in some quarters that all such experiences are to be avoided in favor of a peaceful life shows up the superficiality. It puts the sensory appetites in the bucket or else it gets the extensions. Yeah. I know, right? The idea expressed in some quarters that all such experiences are to be avoided in favor of a peaceful life shows up superficiality of so much of contemporary living. The dark night is a way of bringing the soul to stillness so that a deep psychic transformation may take place. In the Western esoteric tradition, this experience is reflected in the tarot card The Moon and is the hump in the individual's spiritual development, where any early benefits of meditation, pathworking, or disciplines appear to cease, and there is an urge to abandon such practices and return to everyday life. This kind of hump, which must be passed through, can be discerned in different areas of experience and is often experienced by students on degree courses and anybody who is undergoing a new learning process which involves marked life changes as well. First I heard in psychology BA was astrology is fake, magic doesn't exist, and all those shamans are scammers. I swear it made me feel I picked the wrong degree from day one. That's kind of messed up. I mean, science is magic. Knowing which metals or chemicals to throw into a fire to change the color of the fire, totally magic. Chemists are magical. I guess it depends on your idea of magic, what your definition of magic is. I think of it as being able to use your tools to make unordinary changes to reality. Quantum physics. I know, right? Is math doing magic? Chaos theory and quantum physics they definitely talk to each other. Macro and micro initiations. Oh, I guess I should be wrapping up. Generally speaking, there are two kinds of initiatory experience: microscopic and macroscopic. Macroscopic initiations can be characterized as being major life shifts, traumas that sweep upon us, the collapse of a long-term relationship, the crash of a business, or the sudden knowledge that you have a terminal illness. Such experiences are global, which is to say they send shockwaves into every aspect of our lives. Microscopic initiations are more specific in their actions. One day I was sitting tapping figures into the company accounting program when I suddenly found myself thinking, I'd like to do an accounts course. Normally, I would have regarded that as no more realistic than a wish to fly to the moon. Accounting is a task I am only too happy to leave to someone else, and suddenly I was becoming interested in it. Such newfound interest, particularly in subjects that you have accepted that you dislike or are uninterested in, can be likened to a small flame, symbolized by the Ace of Wands in the tarot, which could easily burn out if smothered or ignored. The trick is to recognize that you are standing at a crossroads, a threshold of change. This recognition is the key to all initiations. Again, the A-pi formula is of use. Assess. Stop, look around, and assess your situation. Examine all possibilities for future action. There will always be more pathways available than is at first immediately obvious. What possible futures can you jump into? Use any technique that will gather useful information. Option lists, divination, dream oracles, or asking your favorite deity. Often all you have to do is open yourself to become vulnerable to the forces of change. Plan. Once you have chosen a course of action, plan what you need to do. What resources do you need? These may be material, magical, financial, and perhaps most importantly, the support of other people. Be prepared to carry your plan onwards. Implement. This is the hardest thing of all, to do what must be done. Often fear will intervene at this stage. Be prepared to look at your motivations for not continuing upon your chosen course. Unacknowledged fears often take the form of inertia or laziness. Each step forward gives further momentum to the next effort. Each barrier breached releases a rush of pleasure and freedom. And evaluate. This is the stage of assimilation, not merely the practice of writing up one's magical record, but being able to look back at your course through the initiatory period and realize what happened and how you dealt with it. Have you learned any important lessons? The value of such experience is to make knowledge flesh, assimilating experience until it seems perfectly simple and natural. And then we'll talk about fear tomorrow, right, which I think is pretty much it. I think the next book we're going to read... come here. I think the next book we're going to read is The Psychic Witch, which is supposed to be a really great beginner book, especially for chaos magic. which my witchy group is somewhat interested in. I thought psychology would be an in-depth look at all the aspects of the mind. Turns out it's just training so we can learn which pills to distribute. You overanalyze your friends. You wrongly put labels on people. All reality, as we are capable of experiencing it, it's different forms of energy. Magic is simply a combination of science and the art of understanding and manipulating that energy. I am glad you guys get it. Any books about runes? I do have, if I can get at it. Where is it? Under everything. So I have this thing, which is a deck of the runes. Let me see if I can find the one that you're working on. Yep, here we go. So this is what you're working on, right? So it says upright, the will to act, decision, a healthy degree of aggression, protection, and defense. That is, and then there's the inverted, which is violence, abuse, blind aggression, abuse of power, megalomania, overestimation of oneself. Which is, makes sense. So if you want to, hang out and talk runes at some point today, doll, I am game. If you liked this video at any point, Taking Up the Runes by Diana Paxson for runes in his Introduction to Runes class I took a few minutes back. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, there you go, doll. I didn't know Chris Cackley was super into runes. I can't say I'm surprised, but I didn't think he was into divination and stuff. Later in the afternoon. Sounds great. I should wait until Greg is out of the bedroom before I start packing. I know he was a pretty in-depth heathen. I just didn't realize he was into divination. I mean, he's his significant other is a high priestess. I suspect they have a lot of very similar practices. He's the only member of the band of Cassandra Syndrome, that I never really got to talk to. And that was when Irene was still married to Jericho. I admit I was surprised when I learned how much he'd studied the runes. Yeah. Oh, right. I mean, it makes sense given his heathen beliefs, but still, he went hard. It does not surprise me given who he spends most of his time with. Doesn't surprise me. I would love to be in a circle with Irene. That would be super cool. All right. Well, if you liked this video at any point, I encourage you to hit the like button down below. If you want to wrap up this book tomorrow, we'll finish talking about initiatory stuff and probably close this book out, and we'll get into Psychic Witch, which means introductory stuff and whatnot. We shall. I recommend to subscribe, and it'll notify you. Ring the bell so it'll notify you when I go live. I will catch you guys on the flip side.